Good afternoon and welcome to you all, to past graduates, alumni of Rugby School Thailand, to the current 20 who are just about to graduate, to those members of staff who have been here for more than 5 years and who are going to be invested as members of the Rugbeian Society, and to family, friends and other members of staff. Thank you all very much for coming. There's a wonderful hymn with music by Vaughan Williams, which is one of my favourite hymns, called For All the Saints. Its last verse I find incredibly powerful, and it has this as its first two lines. From earth's wide bounds, from ocean's farthest coast, through gates of pearl streams in the countless host. This idea of a countless host streaming through this sort of continuum of people is a wonderful feeling of and metaphor for community, for everything that you are as members of the school, but also what you're about to come as old members of the school, but still very much part of the community. In fact, now that you're joining Rugby UK's community, that's, for 456 years, young adults have been joining the countless hosts streaming into the Rugbeian Society. Today, we are all extending that community by adding a new section to the Rugbeian community in the UK, but a new section to us of actually allowing all of you alumni from Rugby School Thailand to become part of that community, which is very special. All communities have lots of parts to them, lots of core areas, lots of satellites and important parts, as well as time frames. There is past, there is present, there is future who have yet to be there. But also, of course, there's the very close very close community that is students, parents, and staff. But there's also the satellites to that, which are extended parents, grandparents, alumni, everyone involved with the school. And it's really important that any school, any institution can mark and recognise that community. So today, to be allowed, as Rugby School Thailand, to join rugby community, a global community that is Rugby UK and all the students who've been through it, as well as what will be Rugby School Japan and Rugby School Thailand, is incredibly exciting, and we also feel very, very grateful for. So before we hand out your ties and you become members of the Rugbeian Society, I am delighted to have many VIPs here today, but I'd like to invite up Peter Green, who's the Executive Headmaster of Rugby. Peter.
Good evening, everybody. It's absolutely great to be back in Rugby Thailand and also to see many familiar faces and many friendly faces as well. I was going to say exactly the same thing as Bruce, so he's completely stolen my thunder, so thank you for that. Just to give you a little history of our relationship between Rugby School UK and Rugby Thailand. Many years ago, in 2014-15, I was contacted by Nigel Westlake and was asked the question, would you be interested in opening a school in Thailand? And I said, no, not interested at all. I've got far too many things to do in my current school. Nigel was very, very clever, and he made sure that he was with the Teepsawan family and others, and they were very, very close by to Rugby School, and he contacted me on the mobile and said, look, we just happen to be very, very close by. And I said, what do you mean in the driveway? Can we come and do a presentation? And I said, yeah, you can come and do a presentation. They gave a presentation to Dr. Neil Hampton. Neil is here with me. We've been in this journey since the beginning, which is extraordinary, and my then bursar. So it was really, we had a super presentation. It was quite remarkable. And I remember seeing little videos of what the school might look like, and we see that coming out of the ground. At the end of the meeting, Natapol Teepsawan asked me whether or not Rugby was interested, and I said, no, still not interested. Thanks very much, off you go. Unbeknownst to me, the Teepsawan family, Eve and others, stood outside and said, this is the school that we must partner with. And about 2.5 months later, Neil and my then bursar went out to Rugby Thailand, and Neil actually contacted me probably on his first day by mobile phone, and he said, you know what, we have got to do this. This is going to be amazing. And at that time, we didn't understand that pineapples grew on the ground, but we did after we visited. We all thought they were trees, and he is an eminent biologist, from Oxford and Cambridge with a PhD in that subject as well. So anyway, we were there with that. And we came on a great journey. One of the things that I remember saying to Eve and Natapol in particular is that we were not going to create a school that is a franchise school with just a badge above the door. That was not something that we were ever going to do. It's one of the reasons that in 2020 my role became, moved away from being the headmaster just of rugby school, but to be the headmaster of the executive headmaster of the rugby school group, which effectively means I'm responsible for strategy, ethos and quality of our schools, and act and have oversight with them, of course working with the senior teams in all schools. But one of the key elements in all of this, and it really was important to me, is that the alumni of Rugby School Thailand and staff could become members of the Rugbeian Society. Okay? Now the Rugbeian Society is part of the wider Rugbeian community, and that's important to understand. The headmaster, Bruce, basically mentioned that within that Rugbeian community there are parents, there are grandparents, there are former members of staff, etc., 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 who are all part of that and who come to our events. I can tell you the story of the Tudor House reunion at Rugby. So it's Tudor House reunion, it's an absolutely fabulous house. It's now a girls' house. It was a boys' house, and in my first term we had a reunion of just the boys and the girls from that house, and 250 members of that house came back to Rugby for their reunion. We have in Cotton House, not a house which is in Rugby, Thailand at the moment. Cotton House is fascinating. It has the oldest school house drinking and dining club in the world. It's about 150 years old, so that will give you an indication of that. There are many different strands to the Rugbeian Society. So I'm delighted to be here to be able to induct you into the Rugbeian Society, to become old Rugbeians, although looking around, many of you are very young Rugbeians, and that's going to really invigorate what happens. Now, there are so many different events that happen within our community, and we are expecting that to start to happen in Rugby Thailand. But we will also be inviting you, if you are in the UK, to come and join some of our Rugbeian events in the UK if you are at university. We will pair you up with your house, and someone will meet you when you go to that event and look after you and introduce you to lots of different UK and others Rugbeians. Okay, so look out for that and enjoy that. There will be a microsite for you as well. It's not really a microsite for us at Rugby, it's a huge site, and Katie Steventon is the director of our Rugbeian community, and she's been working very, very hard with the team here and her colleague Abby to really help set up the database and to ensure that we remain in contact with you and that you remain in contact with us. Remember, if you end up going to a Thai university and then suddenly get a job in the UK or in the US or in Japan, where we're opening up a new school in September this year, which is very, very exciting as well, you can get in contact with us and we will put you in contact with similar aged Rugbeians who are in those countries, who will be able to meet you, engage with you, and help you actually integrate. So it's a fantastic organisation, and it's the same with teachers too. Okay, you're all members of the rugby group, you are all rugby staff, and you always will be, and you'll be invited to events throughout the country as well. And we're also, of course, looking for portability of students in the future, where we have exchanges, we have great enrichment ideas as well. We met this week and had a 2-day colloquia, a meeting of minds of the educationalists within the schools to actually start to have similar pedagogy within key stages 1 all the way up to 3 and into A-level and possibly IB in the future, not IB at Rugby Thailand just now. And I'm also delighted that Fliss Passmore is here. The last time I saw Fliss wasn't actually in RST, it was in Rugby School UK after chapel last Sunday. So she must be shattered, because I think she's just got back today or last night. And Fliss is leaving here to become a housemistress of Dean House in Rugby UK, which is very, very exciting. And that gives you another indication of the great and wonderful growing family that there is associated with all our schools. So, as we say in rugby, Floriat Rugbia. And that's something that you'll say often, and you'll sing our school song too, which makes no sense.
Thank you very much, Peter. And now we move to the 3 elements that we have here today. We have the current 20 who are about to leave the school and join the Rugbeian Society. We have old Rugbians who've left and graduated in the last 2-3 years. And we have those members of staff who have done 5 years or more at the school, who automatically become members of the Rugbeian Society. And we're delighted to have you all here today. So I will read out names, and if you can come out and collect your tie from Peter, that would be great. And then we'll get photos as we go, and a photo at the end of each cohort. And head boy 22-23, Albert Sims. Then we move on to babe, Siri Momkol Kasen. Bu Kanjaner Saratun. Then on to Ru Jitkanay Khan. Rung Chayakun. Charlie Wu. A.G. Prajaktam. Graham White. Paul Sri Sambatanam. Pan Jarasiri Sawat. Pupa Mahacharyakar. Tai Pak Kanun Voragnit. Tetsuo Prajaktam. Butu Pum Siti Kun. In Sri Surya Chai. Krit Jiaruk Sukun. Leo Interlap. Matteo Tari. Tyler Johnson. Katie Stewart. Lulu Hopkinson. Melody Chi. Scarlett Core. Val Elick, Adam Lau, Arsene Shulya, Leon Tietz, Om Chandrabal, Poon Watanachai, Sean Barrett, Chanya Suporn Samut Bumsri, Grace Fan, Karil Matibak, Katie Shalapina, Maria Denisova, Min Cho, and by the skin of his teeth, straight out of the exam, Griffin Laker. So now I'd like to invite you all back on stage so we can have one big photo with all of you.
Big smiles.
So going from recent years backwards, the graduation year of 2022, the head boy of that year, Alex Fake. And the head girl, 21-22, Loka Cheritsori. And Edward Kim de Seke. Grace Payne. Guy Prancy Tom. Ingrid Sion. Mook Oapirat. And then moving on to the head boy from 2019-20 to Sung Young Choi. And same year, Chompu Mahochariyankung. That's what a rugby education does for you. Focus Pramsri Tong. To Minji No. And Pepe Warapitpong. Thank you all for coming back. It's hugely appreciated. It's lovely to see you. We now move on to the staff investees who, as I said, have done 5 years or more. I'll read up the names in groups of 5. You can come up and receive your tie from Peter. And it's lovely to have so many of you. Amanda Kayan Solom, Andy Maguire, Bo Ratana Yusuat, Carmen Gonzalez, and Chris Sunnick. Chris Lindop, David Ennis-Billing, Donna Ennis-Billing, Ellie Barnes, and Felicity Parsons. James Rees, Jocelyn Manolastis, Katie Douglas, Kirk Green, and Margarita Betanos Alonso. Natalie Winters, Nat Pakanat Tadruk, Penny Dunn, Rob Groves, and Roger Shuttleworth. should mention that heads, by dint of their status, are immediately part of that Rugbeian Society. And some heads have also done 5 years or more. So, Sarah Howell, Sarah Shuttleworth, Sharon Brassfield, Steve Dunn, and Stuart Douglas. And then penultimate, Will Howell, Will Stoker, and Zana Naran. And last, but by no means least, me. If Dr. Pop and Andrew Duckworth weren't on the list, we apologise for that. Of course, do come up if you have done your 5 years and more, which you have. Sorry about that.